story. The channel. 2 weeks ago, I found a video of myself sleeping on YouTube. I wasn't tagged, obviously. The title was something like, "He has no idea he's being watched. Real footage." At first, I clicked it because the thumbnail looked like my old college dorm. Same kind of cheap white blinds, same ugly beige walls. It was 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I was just mindlessly scrolling horror compilations. I thought it was staged. 30 seconds in, I stopped breathing. Because the guy in the video wasn't just someone who kinda looks like me. It was me. Same haircut, same faded tattoo on my left shoulder, the same gray t-shirt I wore that night. And the room wasn't similar, it was my current bedroom. The exact lamp, the same cheap IKEA shelf in the corner, the crooked poster above the bed that I still hadn't fixed. The video was shot from above, from the corner of the ceiling, like a security camera. You could see me sleeping on my side, my phone charging on the nightstand. The title card said, "This footage was submitted by a viewer. Apartment in Maryland, 2025. My heart was hammering so hard, my vision went blurry. I paused the video, rewound, paused again. There was no doubt. It was my room. And I had never submitted anything. I moved to Maryland in August. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and when I got a job offer just outside DC, I thought I got lucky. The job didn't pay much, but a friend of a friend sent me a Craigslist ad. Basement room for rent, private bathroom, separate entrance, $650 a month, all utilities included. That's insanely cheap for this area. I messaged the guy immediately. His name was Rick, late 40s, divorced, white guy in a faded Commanders t-shirt. He met me in the driveway, was weirdly friendly. "Yeah, man, I'm just trying to help people out. I know rent is crazy around here," he said, clapping me on the shoulder. "I work nights a lot, so you'll barely see me. You get your own entrance, just don't be loud after midnight, and we're cool." The basement was not awful. Low ceiling, but clean. New paint, tiny window, bed, desk, couple of shelves, private bathroom with a shower. Honestly, for $650, I would have taken way worse. There were just a few rules. No guests sleeping over, no smoking, no going upstairs without permission, and no messing with the Wi-Fi router in the corner. "That thing's really sensitive," Rick said when I asked why the router was inside my room instead of his. "I've got some work stuff on the network. Just don't unplug it, don't touch it. If it needs rebooting, text me." It was a little weird, but I was desperate. I signed a simple month-to-month lease. He wanted cash the first month, then Venmo. First few weeks, totally normal. I'd wake up, go to work, come back, microwave something, watch YouTube on my laptop. Sometimes I'd hear Rick moving around upstairs or leaving really late at night. He told me he did contract work and night shifts, but never specified where. I didn't care. I had my own space and a door that locked. I thought that meant I was safe. Back to the video. After I realized it was my room, I paused it on the clearest frame and took a screenshot. I zoomed in until the pixels broke. The file name, when I downloaded it, was something like Basement Sleeper 03. The channel had around 184,000 subscribers. Every video was some variation of, "He has no idea she's being watched." "Creepy neighbor watches you sleep." Real. "Landlord hides camera in tenant's room." All in the same style. Static angle, grainy night vision, no music, no narration, just a caption with a generic story. The descriptions always started with, "Viewer submitted footage. For legal reasons, details are changed." The comments were full of, "Fake, but cool. This is definitely staged. If this is real, she should call the cops. I scrolled through videos. An office cubicle at night, a girl in a college dorm, a guy eating alone in a kitchen. People doing normal, boring things, but filmed without them knowing. In the titles, they were the scary neighbor, the creepy boss, the hidden camera victim. Half the comments were treating it like an ARG. The other half were arguing about whether any of it was real. I was shaking so hard I almost dropped my phone. Someone had uploaded footage from the ceiling of my bedroom, and 96,000 people had watched me sleep. I looked around the room. The router sat in the corner, blinking softly. There was a smoke detector on the ceiling above my bed. Typical white plastic disc. I'm 5'11". I can't reach it without standing on the bed. There was also a small vent above the door. The tiny basement window had blinds, but the angle in the video wasn't from there. I rewatched the clip, paying attention. The frame was high, in the corner where the ceiling and two walls met, above my bed. I stood up on the mattress, my legs shaking, and pressed my fingers along the edge of the smoke detector. It wobbled slightly. Come on, I muttered. I twisted, and it came off too easily. Inside was a battery, and behind it, wired into the plastic, a tiny black circle with a lens. A camera. There was also a cable leading up into the ceiling. For a few seconds, I just stood there, holding it, not breathing. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't a prank. There was a camera pointed at my bedroom. And if there was one, there could be more. Every instinct was telling me to run. But where? It was 3:15 a.m. on a Tuesday. I didn't have family nearby. I didn't have money for a hotel. Everything I owned was in this room. I put the detector back in place as carefully as I could, trying not to let my hands show in front of the lens. I didn't know if it was live or just recording to a hidden DVR, but if someone was watching right now, I didn't want them to know I knew. I grabbed my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and quietly slipped on my shoes. My hand was already on the doorknob when I heard the soft creak of a step upstairs. Not the usual random house noise, a deliberate step, then another. I froze. The entrance to my basement room was directly accessible from outside, but the stairs to the main house were right next to my door, separated by another door that Rick usually kept locked from his side. The floorboards above me creaked slowly, moving toward the back of the house, toward the basement side. I forced myself to breathe quietly. If he had his phone, he could be looking at the camera feed and see me standing by the door. My mind raced. If I walked out now, would I bump into him in the driveway? What would I say? Hey, I was just taking a 3:30 a.m. walk with my laptop. Another step. Closer. I backed away from the door and sat on the bed, trying to look normal, like I had just gotten up to pee or something. The screw hole in the smoke detector stared down at me. Whoever was on the other side of that lens already knew it was loose. I stayed like that for maybe 10 minutes, my heart slamming against my ribs. The footsteps moved away eventually. A door opened, closed. A car engine started in the driveway and drove off. Through the tiny basement window, I saw headlights sweep across the wall and disappear. I checked the time. 3:28 a.m. I waited another 5 minutes, then another. Finally, I moved. This time I didn't hesitate. I stuffed my backpack with the essentials, my laptop, charger, couple of shirts, my documents. I left most of my clothes, my cheap TV, even my PS4. I didn't care. I cracked the basement door open and listened. No sounds from the house. The night air outside was cold and smelled like wet leaves. The suburban street was empty. No cars, no people. Just rows of identical houses and a couple of flickering streetlights. I walked. Not ran, not sneaked. Walked. As if I'd just worked night shift and was used to coming and going at weird hours. I didn't stop until I reached a 24-hour gas station on the main road. I texted my coworker Tyler, the only person I kinda knew here. "Dude, emergency. Can I crash at your place tonight? I'll explain later." He responded in under a minute. "Yeah, sure, man. You good?" "Not really. I'll Uber, dropping you the pin." I ordered an Uber from the station. While I waited, I couldn't help myself. I opened the channel again. The video of me sleeping hadn't been taken down. Comments were still coming in.
Bro sleeps like a corpse, LOL. If this is real, he should sue the landlord. Camera's definitely hidden in the smoke detector. That last one made my skin crawl. These strangers had figured it out from a 40-second clip. I clicked on the channel's About page. There was no name, no location, just we collect and share real footage of creepy neighbors and landlords. Send your videos to generic email. For business inquiries, contact same email. The Uber pulled up. I got in and didn't even look back at Rick Street. Tyler's apartment was a mess, but it was a lifeline. I crashed on his couch and called in sick the next morning. When I told him everything, he stared at me like I was making it up until I showed him the video. "Dude," he said quietly, "that's actually your room. Holy shit." "Yeah, you gotta go to the cops." I didn't want to. I hate dealing with authority. But hidden cameras are illegal, right? Especially in bedrooms. We spent half an hour Googling, reading half-baked Reddit threads and vague legal articles. It looked like yes, in most states, it's illegal to film someone in a private space without their consent. But things got messy with shared property, landlord consent, notice in the lease. My lease didn't say anything about cameras, just the router. "Then he's screwed," Tyler said. "Let's at least report it." The officer at the station was visibly tired. It was a small suburban department, the kind that's used to noise complaints and fender benders, not tech crime. I showed him the video, the channel, the screenshot of the smoke detector camera. He frowned. "Do you still have the device?" "No," I admitted. "I left it. I didn't want him to know I knew." "You haven't been back since?" "No." He scribbled some notes, asked for Rick's address, full name, anything I knew. I had his phone number, the Craigslist screenshots, a photo of the lease. "Okay," he said. "We'll send someone to talk to him. In the meantime, don't go back there alone, all right?" That was it. No dramatic raid, no immediate takedown of the channel. Just paperwork and a half-bored promise. On the way out, he added, "You should also report the video to YouTube. They'll probably remove it if you say you're the person in it." Probably. The channel didn't go down that day. Or the next. I reported the video. A few of my friends reported it too. For a while, nothing happened. The views kept climbing. People in the comments started spinning stories about me. Landlord probably watches him every night. What if he's dead now? Part 2, when? I stopped reading them. It felt like walking through a crowd where everyone could see me naked, and I couldn't see any of their faces. A week later, the video finally disappeared. In my report outcome email, YouTube wrote something generic about violating community guidelines. The rest of the channel stayed up. A few days after that, a new video appeared. He found the camera, but too late. Same style, same captions, different person this time. Some guy in what looked like a college dorm room, staring up at the ceiling with a flashlight. His face was blurred. The comments ate it up. "At least he noticed it, LOL. I check my smoke detectors every week after this channel." I made the mistake of sorting the channel by oldest. The first few videos were low-quality, shaky phone recordings, creep shots in grocery stores, people on buses, neighbors in their yards. Over the months, it became more professional. Better cameras, better angles, more private spaces. Bedrooms, bathrooms, hotel rooms, always without consent, always under the guise of awareness and horror entertainment. About 10 days after I left, I got a call from an unknown number. "Is this Daniel Miller?" a man's voice asked. "Yes. This is Officer Hayes from the blank name police department. We spoke last week about your landlord." My stomach twisted. "Yeah. Did you, talk to him?" "We did. He denies installing any cameras in your room. He claims you're making this up because he asked you to leave for non-payment." "That's boosh. I paid him cash the first month, Venmo the second. I've screenshots." "I believe you," the officer said calmly. "We didn't find any camera in the detector when we checked. The device looks standard, no extra wiring." That didn't make sense. "Did you check the router, the rest of the ceiling, the vent?" "We can't start tearing up his house without a warrant, and we don't have enough for that right now. We documented your statement, and we're forwarding everything to the cybercrimes unit because of the online videos. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you find other housing. Don't go back there. I have already left." "That's good to hear." He hesitated before hanging up. "Listen, Daniel, not saying this to freak you out, but this isn't the first complaint we've had about him. You did the right thing leaving." The line clicked. I stared at my phone for a long time after that. If I had stayed, I might have just become another complaint, another anonymous guy in a grainy video. I wish I could say that was the end of it, that the channel got deleted and Rick got arrested and I moved somewhere safe and forgot. None of that happened. The video of me sleeping is gone. But sometimes when I open YouTube, the algorithm still recommends me that channel. Apparently, it thinks I like it. New uploads keep appearing. Different bedrooms, different kitchens, different people. Everyone in the comments is still arguing about whether it's real. I don't watch them. I scroll past as fast as I can. But I did notice one thing in a recent thumbnail. The room was different. Bigger, nicer, with large windows and fancy curtains. Not my old basement. But on the nightstand, next to the bed, was a router. Same brand, same model, same tiny strip of blue tape on the side. I hadn't thought about that tape in weeks. Rick put it there so he would know if someone moved it. I never touched it. The tape in the thumbnail was in the exact same place. I stared at it for a long time, my skin going cold, because it means one of two things. Either he recycled the thumbnail from an old frame of my room, or he moved the router, and someone else is sleeping under that ceiling now thinking they found a good deal. And the worst part, if they ever find themselves on that channel, they'll probably think the same thing I did at first. That kind of looks like my room, until it's too late to laugh.